What is going on, YouTube? It's time for CHS cylinder head stuff. And what does that include? You'll just have to watch and find out. Let's just jump right into it. Once again, I'm in the future because I'm wearing different clothes, but it's tough, all right? I'm like 3 videos ahead in real life. It takes a long time to edit these things. Anyway, let's get into it right now. So, it's finally time to get these heads assembled. But before that, we do have to lap every single valve. And there's 16 of them. And it should take a while. So I'm gonna start off with the hand style tool, just to quicken things up. Maybe switch over to the drill, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes. All right, so for starters, the whole point of doing valve lapping on anything is to get the seated area of the valve and the valve seat in the head to have a nice tight seal so we don't have any combustion pressure leaking out of any of these. And unfortunately on the LS stuff, the exhaust valves are always wickedly pitted. Intakes, not so much. As you can see, the intake's looking way better. So most of the work is definitely gonna be going into getting the exhaust valve fixed up on all of these. So I got my valve grind compound here. This stuff is ancient. I just found it in the corners of our shop at work. So I'm just gonna dip this thing in there. Just get a little bit around the edges. Nothing crazy. We got a decent amount on there. I'm also just gonna be lubricating the valve stem just with some oil, just so it's not gonna hurt the guide or anything like that. Alrighty, we can grab our lapping tool here. Just be able to stick it on, get everything kind of spread around. And then we'll put some decent amount of pressure downwards while we twist this thing around. Alrighty, well that was just a little bit, but we'll see what that looks like now. I got the number 4 exhaust valve here to compare to. That's what an untouched one is looking like. And this is what it's looking like just after a little bit of lapping. So you can definitely see the difference there. So it's starting to work. This is what our valve seat is looking like on number 2. Versus the valve seat on number 4, which is untouched. So it is doing something. We'll just keep going. Alright, so at this point, our seat in the head here is looking basically perfect. Like there's 0 pits left on it. But when we're looking at the valve here, there still is a whole bunch on the valve. So I'm just going to take a quick Sharpie to the surface on here, and then we'll just lap this dry and see how much it takes off and if there's any high spots or low spots or anything. Alright, so we just kind of put a whole bunch of lines just all the way around so we can check what we got going on here. So far it just took off everything kind of from here and a little bit less here to there. So this top half is still a little not quite flat. So we'll keep going with the lapping again. So here's how we're looking at for the second round of lapping. Honestly, quite a bit better. And it's much more like uniformly flat-ish. Most of those dips are just kind of like cosmetic almost. But yeah, it's getting better for sure. Especially on the valve seat in the head. That's looking great. So at this point, we're just going to put some more Sharpie on and see where we're at once again. So at this point, you can see that we still aren't exactly perfect. But it is getting better. Like, especially in this spot up top here, the Sharpie marks are a little bit more faint. We're definitely pretty close. We definitely don't want to do too much either. It will mess with our valve total installed height. So I kind of did a poor job explaining this in the video, but what I'm getting at here is that if we take off material in between the valve and the valve seat, with the spring pressure on it, the valve is going to sit a little bit higher than usual, which will push on that rocker a little bit, but the rocker's got nowhere to go because the lifter, cam, and push rod are all solid. So the only place that it can go is actually opening the valve a tiny bit. So our valves will always be open just a little bit if we do it far too excessively. So that's one thing to watch out for, and that's what I'm trying to avoid by not overdoing it here. The only way to really fix that is to get different length push rods so that the valve isn't open anymore. But you know, those cost money, and I just want to do it right the first time. So I'm not going to go crazy with this lapping stuff. So that's another thing we got to watch out. We cannot do too much. But at this point, I think I'm just going to leave this one where it is and move on to the intake valve. So here's what our intake valve was looking like before lapping. Here's what she's looking like after a quick little lap. And our valve seat is looking pretty darn good too. So the intake valves aren't going to need much at all, but I'll check it with a Sharpie anyways, just to see where we're at. And here's what the Sharpie test is revealing on our intake valve. So this is just where I overshot it a little bit. This is the surface that we're looking for. So it's pretty darn good all the way around until we get to the bottom right here. And yeah, we see that one's pretty faint, that one's a little less faint, that one's pretty dark still, that one's less faint, and so on and so forth. So it seems like this spot is a bit of a low spot. But other than that, we're pretty darn good all the way around. And when you push the valve in, it's like physically hard to spin. So that tells me that we kind of have like a very good seal going on. So I might honestly just leave it like that. That's basically all we need to know for a super quick rundown on lapping valves. So I'm gonna very tediously get the rest of these done. And it's time to put valve springs in finally. So that'll be fun. Bam! This was unbelievably time consuming. But as you can see, it's not looking so bad. So yeah, a couple things I noticed that I was doing wrong at the beginning was putting way too much valve grinding compound on. So what I ended up doing was just kind of like taking a little bit on my finger and then just dabbing it around the outside of the valve, because it was getting everywhere and making a huge mess. So that kind of helped speed things up quite a bit on the cleaning side of things. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Every single Chevy truck exhaust valve was gonna have these pits, right? Not just Chevy trucks, but like even the Corvettes and stuff. I don't know why, they always got the pitting here. And they seem to run just fine. So if we take a little bit of that pitting off, and not all of it, I'm sure it'll be better than how they're running. And it shouldn't make that much of a big deal as far as the end goal of this thing running nicely. Okay, now we got the next head all set up and ready to be lapped. This should take no time at all. Bam! Well, that was fucking easy. I should just snap like that more often, but let's take a little look over here. Yeah, so some of these are still a little bit pitted. That's kind of the way I'm trying to keep them. Like I was saying before, I don't want to take too much off. Yeah, I think this time turned out pretty darn good. Another thing I did was just brake cleaned off all of the valve grinding compound off of the back and the seat of each one, and then lubed them up so they move real nicely. So our valves are now perfectly lapped and ready to go. Well, I don't know about perfectly, but like I was saying, you know, every Chevy truck out there's probably got wickedly pitted exhaust valves, and they run just fine. So that means this will run just fine too if we do the math. I've never been that good at math. Anyway, next up on the list is valve stem seal. So I have them kind of arranged here, but we got an issue, unfortunately. So come over here and I'll show you what the fuck's going on. So these are all the valve stem seals that came in our kit. There is a brown one for the exhaust side and a black one for the intake side. I think the only difference is temperature ratings, but anyway, they are nice little guys. They have also more rubber inside so that when you press them on, they should stay around the valve guide pretty nicely. The only issue with these is that if you were to install a valve spring on top of these like this, you know, there would be nothing protecting the aluminum head from the valve spring. It would just be sitting there, and valve springs like to rotate over time and like twist around and stuff, and it would just eat away at that. So this is the style that should have came in the Felpro kit with a little retainer on the bottom so that when you have your spring on it, it fits real nice like that. So moral of the story, I gotta order different ones. I gotta order some of these. Found some Mala ones on Rock Auto again. Same stuff as my bearings and everything like that. So I'll get some of those, replace these, and put them in there. And then it's time to get the valve springs all installed. So I did not end up going with the Mala ones. I ended up finding a Felpro kit. There's the part number. Same style though, just the top hat kind. These are for the intake and these are for the exhaust. Yeah, brown ones for the exhaust, blue ones for the intake. So now at this point, we can actually start getting these things installed. So these also come with the same little protective plastic sheath. So we'll put that over top of the valve stem. And I found out that this is only to stop the valve spring keeper groove in the valve here from ripping up that seal. So this kind of just protects it as we're going on, which, you know, makes sense, right? So at this point, we can actually start getting these things installed. So I'm just going to start with the blue intake one. So this little plastic sheath again, push that guy on down into there. And I'll just grab a socket and a hammer and just make sure it's all the way seated. There we go. It's a little unnecessary because the valve spring will do that as you put it on anyway, but whatever. You can never be too sure. Alrighty, now we'll move on to the next two and repeat the process. There we go. All of them very nicely color coded. I ended up using a valve spring instead of a socket and a hammer because you can literally just push on these things with this valve spring and they will just pop right on. So that was pretty easy. Anyways, on to the next side. There we go. Now it's time for valve spring. So this is our Texas Speed 625 lift valve spring kit. Inside we have a whole bunch of very nice stainless retainers and then all the springs. You can see there's a pretty big difference as far as height goes on these things. Crazy. But anyways, we can just kind of pop one on every single valve here. There. And we'll put a little retainer on top of each of them. Alrighty, and now I get to test out a tool I've been waiting to use for quite a while actually, which is valve spring compressor tool from Amazon. Pretty excited to see how well this thing works. So it comes with 2 different lengths of bolts. Not sure which one I'll need yet, but I guess we'll find out. And I need to grab this, our rocker rail. We can kind of just set this on in there. It just needs something to like pivot on. So I'll start right in the middle on this one here. And I'll try the short bolt maybe. We gotta take the spring off first. Alright, so it seems like the shorter screw worked perfect for this one. I'll just chuck the spring back in there. Oops, wrong one. So this thing does have a little 3/8 square drive right on the end of it here. So I don't know how much pressure it's going to take to compress this, but I guess we'll find out in a second. Alright, it's quite a bit. I'm going to need a bigger ratchet. This makes it a bigger ratchet, right? Oh yeah. It's pretty tough to keep it on the table here. This is a little bit tough. Okay, well that would do it. So yeah, the valve was a little bit open, causing it to not really attach properly. All right, let's try this again. Alrighty, so we got one of these installed over here. Pretty difficult to do. I had to push on that thing quite a bit, but it's kind of looking a little weird. These keepers are sticking up awfully far, and I didn't really notice this before, but the retainer is actually not quite wide enough to contact the spring fully. So if we compare it to one of the older ones, you kind of see the difference there. This one, on one of the new springs, you know, it fits a lot nicer. So I think I'm just going to use the factory ones with those factory keepers and see if it can drop down a little bit better. So we'll get that swapped onto there and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so that fits way nicer. Super happy about that. I did have to flip the head around. It just makes it a lot easier to like crank on that stupid thing. I don't know. I don't really like this tool that much, if I'm gonna be honest. It worked, but like it was quite difficult to use. So I'll get the rest of these done. It's like almost impossible to film because of the angles I gotta put myself in. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when we're all done. Okay, so I've found an angle where you could potentially see what I'm doing here. So we got this one, and this one all done. They're actually, I think I kind of figured out the strategy here as far as using this tool and fighting these big ass springs. Put this on without the spring first. Tighten her down. Yes, tighten her down without the spring on there first. Then we'll grab our spring, flip her down, grab the ratchet. The toughest part is getting the ratio good, because if you go like this, now you got way too much room at the back and not enough room at the front. So we really got to mess with this thing to get it to actually work nicely. There, like that should be pretty good. Yeah, and I have a rag in like the combustion chamber to keep the valves up so I don't, like, so it doesn't push them down as I'm doing it, which is another struggle I was having. So now we'll grab some keepers. And this is the tough part. So yeah, lining it up is quite difficult because you can only fit the keepers on if it's like basically perfect. And now I just kind of got I got 2 hands now. The cheater bar that I have on this ratchet is just stabbing me in the stomach at the moment, but that's okay. You know, cars are pain, or whatever Donut Media said back in the day. Okay, there we go. Then it kind of automatically centers up real nice, and that's all there is to it. So it's not that bad, okay? Once you figure out the trick, it is pretty good. But one thing too is that look at the wear on this tool already. Only done like a couple springs with it, and she's hurting. God damn it. So I don't know. It's okay. It was $25. Like, And it looks like it came out of a race car, so that's cool. But like, there's definitely better stuff out there for sure. But anyways, I'll get the rest of them on. Alrighty, there's one head totally complete with our new 625 lift springs and valve stem seals and the factory retainers and keepers. I know that sounds like the same thing, but the retainers, the flying saucer looking fella, and the keepers are those. Anyways, time to get this one all done exactly the same. Bam! Everybody's all installed. So now both heads are done. Now I can finally clean up this workbench and I can actually use it again. So with that, our heads are looking amazing. I love the way that they turned out, especially like how clean they are from, you know, the bathtub head cleaning. And the valve springs and everything. Everything went great as far as head stuff went. The valve lapping was pretty tedious, and I'm a little upset I wasn't able to use those titanium keepers anymore. But I'm honestly wondering, because it says Hemi on the package. And it might be for a Hemi, which would be pretty stupid. But anyways, I got those for free with the whole engine and everything, so I'm not really super bummed out about that. But either way, heads are assembled. They're fine. They're gonna be great. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.